Well, good morning, everybody. It is Sunday, May 28th, 2023. I realize I have not posted anything in like 6 months. so a lot of things going on a breakfast flight on a beautiful Memorial Day weekend day. We're going to go up to Janesville, tell you what I've been up to for those that care. Let's get going here. I got the hiatus. Everything looks, it's 070, 6 knots, 10 miles visibility. It's already 18 degrees Celsius, which is like 72 or something like that. I made a mistake and wore jeans. I thought it was going to be a little cooler than that. So here, let's continue on through the checklist. We're going to get the hiatus. We got that. Let's call clearance delivery. Good morning, Quad City clearance delivery. Comanche 6928 Papa with Charlie.
Comanche 6928 Papa, good morning, Quad City clearance delivery.
Yeah, good morning, ma'am. We're VFR Janesville, 3,500.
Roger, stand by.
Let's go up and have some breakfast and come back. I haven't flown in a month. We've been really busy and all kind of.
Comanche 28 Papa, maintain VFR at below 4,000. Departure frequency is 125.905. Squawk 5317.
6928 Papa at or below 4, 12595, 5317 for 28 Papa.
Comanche 28 Papa, read back correct.
$12595. We got the tower. Let's get ground. We'll need that next. Back to the checklist. Let's program the GPS. So let's see here. Home flight plan. It knows we're KMLI, so KJVL. Enter. All right, that's ready. Transponder is set, 5317. Lights as required, directional gyro is good. Comm radios are set. Got tower, departure, ground. We are on ground. Nav radios we don't have to worry about. Airspeed is 0. Altimeter, let's see, it was 3015. That is set. PSI is set, is good. Flaps are up, trim is set. Landing gear indicator is green. Check the brakes. Brakes are good. So we'll go to taxi here. We are on ground. Good morning, Quad City ground. Comanche 6928 Papa at the T's, looking for permission to taxi to the active.
Comanche 6928 Papa, Quad City ground. Good morning, runway 9er at Echo intersection departure. Taxi via Kilo 3, Kilo 2, Delta Echo. Cross runway 5.
6928 Papa, Kilo 3, Kilo 2, clear to cross 5, Delta Echo for an intersection departure at Echo 28 Papa. Okay. And let's get going. Are clear. Watch our normal little bumps here. They are doing some work. They're tearing out, and right in front of my hangar there was a grass area, and it looks like they're going to put concrete in that. I suppose because every winter they skim it and take some of the grass with it with a snowplow. That probably got a little bit annoying, reseeding every spring. And it does, when they mow, it blows grass in the hangar. So actually kind of looking forward to that. Alright, we are, let's pull up our chart. Kilo 3. Getting ready to cross Kilo. This taxiway is getting real bumpy right here where there's a drainage culvert underneath. Over the last 3-4 years, it started to kind of do this number, so I'm afraid they're gonna lock us in here. Okay, she did clear us across 523. Runway is clear. Approach is clear. Let's go ahead and cross. I'm afraid they're going to close us in to tear that out and redo it at some point here in the next few years. Trying to think, since, I mean, it was November, it was last time I was up, was me and Tim went over to Omaha and picked up his little girl and brought her back for Thanksgiving. I think that was the last time I recorded anything. And then I've been flying, of course, since then. And I'll go over what I've been doing and where I've been once we get up in the air and get into cruise here. Nothing too exciting. And then annual, had an annual in February. I did a lot of upgrades this annual. This is different, I don't know if, but it's a 650XI. I replaced my 650 with a 650XI. Okay, there's Echo, so let's go ahead and get up here. Papa is clear to cross, it looks like. I'm a little rusty. It's been a month since I've been flying, so I'm a little rusty. All right. And brake set. Alright, back to the checklist, and folks, you've seen this all a million times, so I'll probably just kind of cut this out. Good morning, Quad City Tower, Comanche 6928 Papa at Echo and 9, we're ready to go, sir.
Comanche 6928 Papa, good morning, Quad City Tower, turn left heading 050, runway 9er at Echo, clear for takeoff.
Left 050, cleared for takeoff, 9er and Echo, 6928 Papa.
Wind 090 at 5.
Okay, here we go. Fuel. Flaps are set. Trim final check. Alright, there we go. On the gas. Let's go to Janesville. Power coming up. Power set. Airspeed is alive. Temperatures and pressures look good. There's 70. 75. She wants to fly. We'll go ahead and let her. Positive rate of climb. Gear coming up. Laps are coming up. Pitching for 105. Cylinders are still looking good. 800 feet. Alright, let's get her into a cruise climb. So 130 is 1,000.
Comanche 28 Papa, contact departure, have a good day.
28 pop over to departure. Good morning, Quad City departure, Comanche 69, 28 pop indicating 1,220 in the climb, turning 050.
Comanche 69, 28 pop, Quad City departure, radar contact, VFR altitude, your discretion.
69, 28 pop, climb into 3,500, 28 pop.
Comanche 28 pop, you can proceed direct Janesville.
Direct Janesville, 69, 28 pop. Okay, so direct Janesville, activate. And we want to go a whole 2 degrees to the left. Right there. And you know what? We can go ahead and turn George on. And we'll turn nav on. Out of cylinders 391. Looking good.
Approach, Spirit 509er Popper, 7,000.
Spirit 509er Papa, Quad City approach, good morning, Quad City altimeter 3015.
3015, sir, no problem.
We're looking good here. Climb to 30,500, there's 1,900. Just passing over United Township High School, if anybody knows the area. So from the airport runway to here, we've gained 1,500 feet. And there's the Whitey's I had ice cream at yesterday. One of my favorite places. Beautiful morning. A little hazy. We've been under a high pressure for a week. We haven't had rain in a week. Crops, corn is just about 4 or 5 inches high. And normally we'd like to get a little rain, but it's forecast for the next week we got nothing. Okay, let's go ahead and back this off to 2,500. 389. RPM, we're full throttle, 2,800 feet. The ball is centered, so we're climbing as efficiently as we can. We're in a cruise climb, which on a Comanche is between 125 and 130 miles an hour indicated. Right now it gives us a ground speed of 121 knots. True airspeed of 137 miles an hour at this altitude and temperature. And we're climbing at about 600 feet a minute. Feet to go, 200. Go ahead and bring that fuel boost pump off. All right, she's starting to level out. Trim is starting to trim the nose down here as we accelerate. And I'm watching the ball here because I don't have the rudder. Not that this thing really needs it all that much. There's 3,500. We'll let the speed build. We're still full throttle. 2,550 RPM right now because as it speeds up, it adds a bit. We'll back it down 2,500. And to Janesville, we're going to run 65%. Why? Because I'm in no hurry. And our pressure altitude is 3,200, so we'll just call it 3,500. 21.8, 23. Speed is still building. 157 indicated, which would be 160 calibrated, which would be true airspeed of about 167 miles an hour at 3,500 feet, which is slow for a Comanche. Most of them, you know, the 3-blade prop and the tip tanks make a difference. I've said that before. Most of them should be about 8 miles an hour faster. .58 miles an hour. She's still climbing a little bit. But we're going to go ahead . She's still climbing, 159 indicated now.
Quad City approach, Bonanza 6263 Victor checking in out of 6, climbing at 9,500.
Bonanza 6263 Victor, Quad City approach, good morning. Holding altimeter is 3015.
3015, 63 Victor.
Alright, there's 159. So we're going to go ahead 21.8, 23. So we come up here, back out the manifold, 21 point, we'll do 22 here. And we back the RPM down to 23. The prop will start taking bigger bites of air. That's close enough. And we're going to lean it just a smidge. I'll make some adjustments here.
Departure, Dr. Stein, 333 Whiskey, climbing, 1100.
Sky Country 933
Right.
Whiskey, Quad City departure radar contact, VFR altitude, your discretion.
30.
Alright. Oil temp is 186, cylinders are down to 355. Highest exhaust gas is 1300, which we're just looking for the, I know at this power setting down here about 1300 is where I want to be for 100 degrees. So we'll wait for them to turn us over to Rockford here. Alright, so where have I been? Well, after the flight in November, December, I went on just a couple of breakfast runs, nothing major, you know, with Christmas and all that. Plane went into annual, well, same with January and February. I went flying, just, you know, doing runs and little this, little that. Nothing major. February or no, March, early March, I think it was. I took the plane, put it into annual, and this was a little bit longer annual. So I did a number of things this year. One, I put in the Australian tail horn. So one of the ADs on Comanches, the two big ADs are the landing gear every 1,000 hour, which is a complete tear down, measure all the components, make sure everything is still in spec, and rebuild it back up. with new parts where you need them, and that way the landing gear stays nice and tight and operates. That's one big AD, and that one you cannot get rid of. Every 1,000 hours you're doing that, which, you know, when you fly 50 hours a year is a long time, so don't let that scare you about owning one. The other big AD is the tail. So the tail horn, because we're a stabilator, there's a knuckle that has a shaft that the tail rides on, and that knuckle can get out around. And what happens is you'll get flutter. The tail will start to, and flutter's bad, folks. So every 1,000 hours, you go in and you have to pull the tail apart and measure that. If it's out around, put a new one in, and then if you don't put a new one in, you're doing it like every 500 hours then, or something like that. So the guys down in Australia, the Comanche group down there, put together this beefy knuckle that is just, it's beefy. You know, it won't, so it completely eliminates the AD. Unfortunately, it's a little expensive, but instead of tearing it down and doing all the rest of this, it's done now. And it's much, like I said, it's much safer. The Comanche is built extremely strong. You gotta remember, this was designed by men with slide rules. There was no CAD drawings. We weren't able to computer simulate things and get tolerances. So there's a big fudge factor in everything, right? Because it's a man with a slide rule. And you wouldn't believe the spar, the carry through spar is an I-beam, and the back one is a little bit smaller. I mean, they're built tough. And the tail now is beefy as well. So it was the tail horn AD. That was the big one. Then I put in a laser landing height system. So on the belly of the aircraft, there's a laser beam that shoots down as I'm coming into landing, and you guys will hear it when I'm landing. It says like 200, 100, and then it goes, you know, 50, 10, 5, 1. And it just tells you your height above the ground. It's kind of neat. It's pretty slick. Put that in, not because I needed it, just because I had to have it, kind of thing. And then it also has the landing gear alert system. So if the gear switch is not down and that thing starts bouncing laser off the ground, it'll say check gear, check gear, check gear. So I've got 3 gear warning systems now. I've got this, if I go to the second notch of flaps, that goes off. I've got the landing height system with the gear alert. And I've got the throttle, the normal, if you pull the throttle below a certain manifold pressure.
Number 6928 Papa, contact Rockford approach 126.0. Good day.
1260 for 28 Papa. Thank you, sir. Good morning, Rockford approach. Comanche 69, 28 Papa, level 3,500 VFR.
Comanche 69, 28 Papa, Rockford approach, Rockford altimeter 3017, advise ATIS information Kilo, Janesville Airport.
3017, I'll let you know when I got the ATIS 28 Papa. 3017, okay. Yeah, we're not even close yet. Yeah, I'm 63 miles out, I won't even pick it up. So we'll just, so anyway, so the landing height system, the tail horn, and the GTN 650XI, which was a slide out. You slide the old one out, slide the new one in. They gave me a good trade-in, at least I thought it was a good trade-in value. Also got the autopilot. Well, that was part of the deal. So, fuel boost pump coming on, left main on, right off. Watch the fuel pressure. So, there was an AD on the autopilot, or no, I'm sorry, service bulletin, I think it was, on the autopilot. I couldn't use it for a couple months. I had to collar the breakers here, because there was a possibility of this pitch running away. Which, like I said, this one has given me absolutely no problems, but there was this. So anyway, so they had to come out. They updated some software, and the plane was in Freeport, which we're going to go over, which is right in front of us up here. And they're over in Rockford, so to sweeten the pot, I updated this, and then they were. Otherwise, I was going to have to fly to Rockford, and I wanted a new one. And I go, okay. So they did it all while it was in the annual. So those were the big three changes. Other than that, the annual was fine. Plane is solid. It's no issues whatsoever. So that was in early April. I got it out. I had an Army reunion down in San Antonio, Texas. So I flew down to San Antonio. So Moline to San Antonio. I stopped in Paris, Texas for gas. Which was on the way down, it was like 3 hours and 50 minutes, Moline to Paris, Texas. Landed, got gas. The weather was gorgeous. Then just south, well, I shouldn't say gorgeous, there was a low cloud layer in southern Missouri. I saw, well, no, I'm sorry, it was when I hit the Oklahoma border, that little corner of Oklahoma. Anyway, took off out of Paris, and I thought, oh, you know, when I was planning this trip, I was like, oh, it'll be great. I'll go right down that interstate that runs from Dallas down to San Antonio. I can see Waco. I can see all these places. And there was a wind had been out of the southeast for a week, and there was just a low layer of clouds, solid, socked in solid. So I flew a total there and back. I want to say it was 11 and a half hours, something like that. And I got a solid 3.5 hours of instruments. I didn't get to see hardly any of Texas. Got down to San Antonio, shot an approach into Stinson Field, which I had to do a circle. Now the cloud, it wasn't a tight approach. It was like a 1,000-foot ceiling. So I had, I was willing to do a circling approach, which I don't normally do. If the weather's, it was almost MVFR. It wasn't really tight. So, and I wouldn't normally do that. If it's below 1,000 feet, one of my personal minimums, if it gets down too tight like that, I'm unfamiliar with the airport and the surrounding area, I don't do a circling approach. It's just, I would have landed downwind. Wind wasn't bad. It was 5-6 knots. The runway was plenty long. I would have landed downwind in that case. But Stinson's only got one RNAV approach that, because the jet traffic, holy smokes. There's a couple Air Force bases down there, and there were fast movers all the way around me, and I felt like, I was threading a needle between these fellas. Anyway, took back off. That was on a Thursday. Had a great time, saw the Alamo. The wife didn't go with me. She wasn't interested. Sitting around listening to a bunch of now middle-aged men. We're going, hey, you remember when? Great time. Saw guys I haven't seen in 30-plus years. Sunday morning, got up at like 4:30 in the morning because there were forecast thunderstorms. Got to the plane in the dark, put my headlamp on, pre-flighted, and took off. And I'll insert some video. I did not take any of the cameras. I knew going that I was going to be IFR, on the day I left. I was like, well, no. So I wanted to really focus on what I'm doing because, I don't do it a whole lot. So I didn't want any distractions. Anyway, Sunday morning, there were thunderstorms south of the field. And I'll insert a video. I took just when I got on top and I got the autopilot, well, the autopilot was on, you know, at like 1,000 feet. Once again, it was dark, or it wasn't dark, it was just the break of dawn, where it was civil twilight, or civil, I think is what they call it, civil dawn, where you can just start to see. But I had to have the lights on in here, and I had my headlamp going. And clouds were 800, 900 feet. So I was able to get the autopilot on before I really got into the IMC, and then push buttons, you know. Anyway, they turned me to the east and then shot me out north because I saw my first flash of lightning from the sky. That was, or from the air. It was bright, and it was maybe, I don't know, 15, 18 miles south. The edge of the storm was. So lots of room, just, and the air was very smooth. It wasn't like super windy or anything. Anyway. So I flew back home, and I haven't flown in a month. I cleaned the plane up last weekend, washed and waxed it, because down there it's already pretty much summer, and there were bugs everywhere. That's it. So that's where I've been. That's the update. I'm going to go ahead and shut the cameras off for 5 minutes or so. I'll get the ATIS and such like that, and I'll turn it on when we're headed back in. We'll talk to you in a bit. Bye. Well, good morning. We're back. We're 3 minutes from our descent. I'm just getting ready to call Janesville Tower.
Janesville Tower,
super smooth.
4287, 15 southeast with Kilo. We'd like to do the practice RF ILS 4.
What are we, 17 nautical miles south?
287, runway 4, ILS approved, maintain VFR, no separation service provider POV.
Practice ILS 4 approved, maintain VFR 287.
Good morning, Janesville Tower. Comanche 6928 Papa, 16 miles southwest of the field, inbound with the ATIS.
Comanche 28 Papa, report 5 mile final, straight in 4.
Report a 5 mile final, straight in 4, 28 Papa. That's easy. So Janesville, you're not going to be able to probably see it on the camera, but it's about a quarter of the way down the horizon. We're looking right down runway 4. Looking right down it. All right, let's go through our checklist. Okay, we got the ATIS. We don't need an approach plate. Comm radios are set. Ground is here. Altimeter is 3019 is set. Why you do a check? We are on the fullest tank. Yes, we are.
673, runway 4, cliff takeoff.
Seat backs, shoulder harness. Okay, gear below 125, and we need to start our descent here in a minute and a half. Get that with our gumps, mixture with our gumps, prop with our gumps. Gumps times 3. Okay, so we're belted. We start our descent in a minute and 20. Now, we do need to look. He did clear a guy for a VFR ILS approach. So we do need to kind of keep an eye out for him.
Vertical track.
Vertical track. 1 minute. And I'm set. My vertical point is 1,800 feet, which is pattern altitude, 3 miles short of the field, which should give me enough time to get the gear, flaps, etc. Do a vertical speed descent, and we want to do, let's go ahead and start 500 feet a minute. we're just going to back out a couple inches of manifold pressure on the downhill run here so our speed doesn't climb too much. And we're looking for a guy that's doing the ILS for runway 4. I do not have him on ADS-B, and he wants us to report 5 miles. So head on a swivel, gumps to go. Level off. Go ahead and pull another inch of manifold pressure out here. We don't want to pick up a bunch of speed. And what happens, since I got a 500 foot per minute descent, when I pull the power out, the airplane is going to hold that 500 feet per minute descent, which means the nose is going to come up slightly. And this, which will drop the speed off, right? We're over the outer marker. Backing now to 18 inches.
Janesville Tower, RV76 Lima Mike is 10 miles northeast, landing with Lima.
He's northeast, the opposite direction.
Aircraft on ground, frequency standby. RV76 Lima Mike, stay again position.
Up to 9 miles northeast.
Okay.
On ground, say again your direction, departure, call sign.
We're 5 miles.
RV76 Lima Mike, report 3 miles northeast, enter left downwind for runway 4.
Report 3 miles northeast. I'm south of the center line of 4. Can I make a right downwind?
Okay, I got traffic departing 1, correction 4 going southeast. That's approved. Report 3 miles northeast, right downwind 4.
We'll report 3 miles northeast, right downwind for runway 4. Be looking for traffic.
4 Golf X-ray, runway 4 via Alpha taxiway.
Tower 6928 Papa, sir, we're 3.5 miles off the Ender 4.
28 Papa, runway 4, clear to land, 1070 at 5.
6928 Papa, cleared to land, thank you. Okay, so we're going to have a right to left. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to back some power out here. Autopilot off.
4 Golf X-ray, I see you parking, or taxiing from your parking spot. It'll be Bravo, then left to non-Alpha.
Gear coming down. Power coming out. Okay, gas, undercarriage, mixture, prop coming in. We're looking for 100 so we can start working flaps in. There's 100. There's 1 notch. Twist to trim. Second notch. Twist to trim. We're looking for 90. Okay, we're almost just idling here. Gas, undercarriage, mixture, prop. Speed, we're right on 90. Runway is clear. Yes, it is. Check the gear. Gear is clear, or gear is down. We're still high, 4 white on the left side of the runway, but that's all right. Now we'll give it a little bit because there's 85. Third notch of flaps coming in. We're going to go 2 twists of trim. Now we're right on glide slope.
Check your 76 radio, stand to ground.
So we're looking at 80 miles an hour. Landing speed today is 76. Or, well, that's our target for right over the numbers.
76 Juliet, runway 4, via
100.
left to non-alpha.
70. 50.
Right on speed.
20.
Janesville,
10.
76 William Mike, 3 miles.
5. 2.
16 Mike, report midfield right downwind, runway 4.
We'll report midfield, downwind for 4. William Mike.
That wasn't too shabby.
2-8 Papa intentions.
We're going to Bessie, sir. I'd like to go right here on Bravo if I could.
Turkey 2-8 Papa, right to non-Bravo, taxi with this frequency.
Comanche 28 Papa, right on Bravo, over to Bessie's. Stay with you.
2-8 Papa, give way to the aircraft, taxiing out to Alpha.
Can do. I got eyes on him. Okay, fuel boost coming off. Flaps are up. Hardly anybody here today. Wow. Okay, so they're clear. We're behind him. Come on over here. We're going to park right up front, folks. How about that action? Oh, well, well. All right. Mixture coming lean. And let's be careful. Last time I was up here, I scared myself. I went and parked right here, and I thought I was going to hit the building. I really scared myself. That glass is a little bit. Sure, we're clear of that post. We are. All right.
Janesville Tower RV, 6 William Mike.
All right.
Midfield right downwind.
So everybody, hey, thanks for coming with. Sorry I haven't posted in a while. I just don't like editing these videos. It takes me hours. We'll see y'all later. Hope you have a great Memorial Day. Bye.